Boom. We're here with the Comedy's Best Kept Secret Tour podcast. We're here with EricJansen.
Yes.
Appreciate you, man. We are in Johannesburg, South Africa, which is normal for you, very not normal for me. This is my first time. Last night was the first time performing. We're at the Goliath
Comedy
Club where you work and play all the time.
Yeah. This is my home.
Home club.
My home away from home.
Yeah. Last night was fantastic, man.
Nah, it's gonna be crazy tonight again.
I only feel bad for you because when you work at a club and then you get to see a hot show and you don't get to go on, it's like.
Nah, I'm used to it already. The club has been running for like 2 years now, and I think in the 2 years I have probably jumped on the most.
Okay.
When the club just opened, I did every second weekend I was on.
So you're good.
Shows were running from Thursday through to Saturday. So
so you're good
Friday,
either
I'd
way.
jump on stage and I just be like, "Yo, I'm doing 5, and no one's gonna stop me." And that's exactly what I did.
Oh, that's great.
So eventually they were just like, "No, you need to stop doing open spots now.
Yeah.
You have to stop. You're wasting everybody else's time." Like, damn it. Okay.
So now, but now you do long spots.
Yeah.
Nice.
Still do those.
Yeah. There's
spots, still do the open spots.
There's something. So before I started comedy, one of my first hops. I performed the first time ever when I was I guess I was 19. And then I hopped on a plane. I went to England.
Okay.
And England, the way they respect comedy, it's the first time I ever really saw anything because I didn't really know what American comedy was and what the clubs, the situation was. But I feel like the culture's pretty similar comedically here. The level of respect that the audience gives to a comedian. Yeah. Because in New York, in the U.S., it's not. Stage. It's generally not. They won't boo you off stage unless it's like that type of specific show, like that. Okay. Like that. They got that Apollo show.
Oh yes.
That's just got the history for doing that kind of thing. But there's just not the level of concern for the performer, and and they have it here, and it's fantastic. So
our audiences pay a lot of attention. Sometimes they focus so well that they forget to laugh.
Oh yeah,
but that's what we just tell the comics. We're like, no, you were good. They were just listening.
They were just great.
So well, they were really attentive
listeners.
That's all they were doing.
That's funny. So, why do you do comedy? What's wrong with you?
What's wrong with me? I've got This is not a podcast. This is now a therapy session. Okay, I'm gonna lie down on this couch. Give me a second.
Cross our legs.
So what happened was when I was a
who
kid
didn't hug you? Is the question.
No. I was the class clown. But
no shit.
But yeah, like everybody else. But the thing was, with me, it wasn't a case of being the disruptive one. It wasn't seeking of attention or anything. I just always had something funny to say.
Yeah.
So the teacher.
Oh, I like it.
It started. The teacher would kick me out of the class, and then 2 minutes later she'd call me back, and then she'd be like, "You know, you're getting like the best marks in the class.
Yeah.
Why are you behaving like this?" I'm like, I just wanted to say something.
I'm having fun.
Yeah, I'm having fun with this thing.
Yeah,
and that's where it started.
I would have the issue, and that's the problem when you're doing well in school and you're acting up, is like the teacher doesn't really know what to do.
Yeah, they can't kick you out because they want you to excel.
Well, not even that. Like if they kick you out, I don't know if they like send you to the principal thing or whatever situation. But you go to the principal, and then the principal's like, "He's doing great in class." She goes, "Yeah." He goes, "So what's the problem?"
Let him do his
thing. He's everybody loves him. Yeah. I don't understand. What's the problem? That's great.
Are you just showing off with your students now? Is this what you're doing? Yes, that's what I'm doing. Go back to class.
Yeah, that's funny.
So that's basically what happened. And then we had schools have talent shows.
Yeah.
And showcases and stuff. And I'd always audition, and I'd be like, "Yo, can I be the dude to just tell a couple of jokes?" Because
you were like doing stand up.
No, I was doing jokes, like actual scripted jokes.
Yeah,
like
but that's doing stand up. I mean, as how old?
That started when I was 14.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. So I'd be that guy. I'd just go into a room, audition. I'd be like, "Yo, I'm going to tell you guys a couple of jokes. Is that fine?" They'd be like, "Yeah, do the thing."
Yeah.
Do the jokes. 2 weeks later, the list goes up, and then I'm the MC. Then
no
I'm
shit.
Like, what? I'm the MC? Guys, you're putting this much responsibility on my head already?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you're funny. You can hold the show together.
Yeah, that's what here, and I have this mentality already, but the MC spot a lot of times in the U.S. doesn't have the revere that it appears to have here, because Jason last night, he probably did an hour over the course of the show. I mean, the guy literally was the glue for the show.
Yeah.
I mean, it didn't matter what happened on stage. The crowd knows that Jason's coming on. Yes. He's going to fix it no matter what happens. Like, somebody could have gone up and bombed. It didn't happen, but if somebody could have gone up and bombed and Jason still would have come up and recovered the entire show, it was unbelievable.
That's the biggest thing in our scene. The host needs to be as strong as the headliner. Because if the host can't bring the show back, the headliners are
and I think that's the best version of the show. But we do, a lot of times in the U.S. we do this thing where it's a stacked show and it goes in reverse. So it's like from the beginning, it's just going to get better every act. Okay. And I just think it's a difficult way to run a show. You want the whole show to just be fire.
Well, yeah, like I said, it needs to be the MC's job. So he basically needs to go on and do his set up front.
Yeah.
So he has to do most of it up front and then just...
He did the groundwork, he did the jokes, did the thing.
Yeah.
And then you were a 14-year-old MC.
I was a 14-year-old MC in high school, just telling jokes to students and teachers and parents alike. And eventually, what is it? I was in my...
How old are you now?
I'm 22.
22. No shit.
Yeah.
You're too young for me to even talk to you. I never got the podcast over. There's no...
This is fun. Thanks, Dan. I'm leaving.
There's no knowledge that could be gained.
No, but this is the weird thing. I've always been like super mature about 90% of the stuff.
No, you've been doing comedy, like basically you've been doing comedy 8 years.
Yeah, well, not exactly 8 years. Because
well,
I didn't know to stand up at the time.
I'm counting it.
No, you're not counting it. You can't count it. And it makes me feel really shit. Because now I'm like at 8 years and I'm like, damn it. I haven't even done much. No, man. So the real time that it started was in 2013. I just left school and my folks forced me to study IT. And I was like, I have no idea how computers work. And doing this course isn't going to help me either.
Why did they force you to do...
There's this thing called a backup plan, and because if you know the history of our country, during the apartheid time, because I'm a person of mixed origins, dreams weren't something that my parents could follow. So they didn't understand the concept of chasing a passion and a career.
Right.
They were like, you need to have something tangible behind your name before you do something like that, because this is considered a hobby. A job.
I like how you say it like it's like, well, listen, in South Africa, we have this thing called a backup. Like, everybody should have a backup plan. And everybody goes to school for some other idea.
Yes, that is true. But in my case, I was just like, I don't see a need for plan B. I feel like my plan A is strong
I figured
enough.
out my plan A. Yeah,
my plan A is going to be perfect.
It's crazy to figure out your plan A that early in life.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. Look, it has its downsides, but like everything you do in life, everything has a downside and an upside.
Yeah.
So the downside is because I'm young and I'm doing comedy, I don't have that much experience to speak about.
Yeah.
So there's stuff that I haven't experienced yet that I can't talk about on stage, or if I do attempt it on stage, it bombs dismally because I don't have the knowledge about it.
Well, I mean, I'm gonna put you on blast a little bit. We were hanging out last night, and we were with some people, and they were like, "We're gonna go out tonight."
I don't normally sound like this.
I'm
sick. No, I'm sick. Like right now, I'm sick. You need to disinfect this mic after
They said to me,
whoever does this podcast after me might get Ebola.
They said to me, Eric doesn't go out ever.
No, I don't.
So if you want some life experience, sometimes as a comedian, you got to lean into that. Somebody
no. I understand. But now here's
somebody says something weird to you, and normally you would just go, listen, I'm going to walk away from this. But as a comedian, sometimes you go, let's find out what happens next.
Let's see how far this goes. No, okay. Here's the thing. Most of the guys in comedy, call it 8.
No, I'm with you. It's a valid point. Right. No, you're right.
So the thing is, partying with them, it's a weird thing because I want to do one thing at the place that we're partying at, and they want to just either hang around at the bar,
what do you want to do?
Smoke or whatever. Like, I just want to, like you said, I have to explore. I have to go out and meet weird people and engage in weird conversation to see how far I can go with something.
Yeah.
And then they don't want to do that because they've already done this when they were my age.
Right.
So they're already tired of doing the thing. They're just avoiding it.
Well, they're going to stop you from doing it, though.
No, but that's the thing. Then I go out to them, and then they're like, "Yeah, you came out with us, but you didn't even chill with us."
Oh,
now it's a problem. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I do go out, but that's
just not with this. Just not with this group. I'm gonna tell them.
No. Dan, come on, man. You know the saying, snitches get stitches. Do you want stitches?
But I'll be gone by the time the news comes out. You're gonna have to get on a plane to come give me stitches.
It's fine. I'll do the thing.
Have you been? Have you been anywhere? Have you been to the U.S.? Have you?
No.
I mean, you're 22. I mean, at 22, people haven't been anywhere usually.
No. I've been to China.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been to China. I went to China when I was 18 years old.
No, so comedy, no comedy.
No comedy.
Did you even see comedy when you were there?
My matric year. No. Like I said, that time I was still very green about everything. I was still like, let me just finish school first and then I'll take my life from there.
See what happens.
So during my matric year, my brother, being a pilot, decided he'd have my suit made in China. The prom suit, you call it prom, we have a matric banquet.
Okay.
So my banquet suit was literally made in China.
No shit. No, we don't do that. We just rent a tuxedo and then we vomit on it and we give it back. Yeah.
No, I had it custom made.
No shit.
So yeah, it was like super cool and shit. So that was the reason we went to China.
Oh, that's very cool. You went to China just to get somebody to make you a suit.
Yeah, it was intense.
You're balling on a level that I didn't understand until this point. You know when you're like having a conversation with somebody and you think that you guys are on equal planes, and then they say something like, "I flew to China to get a suit made," and then you realize that you guys are not at all come from the same financial situations.
Yeah, no. Well, like I said, it's because he's a pilot, so he got the discounted tickets and everything. So
right,
hey man, let's do this.
Oh, for like a major airline?
Yeah,
like
he flies for SA, so it's the biggest
no
airline.
shit.
Yeah.
So are you like? Do they have the what is it? The buddy pass system?
Yeah, it's something like that.
So you can go.
He gets like a 60 to 70% cut on all.
You basically pay like taxes.
Yeah, basically.
You can go anywhere.
That's the plan.
You should be going places. Yeah.
No. From now on, that's the plan.
Dude, I honestly, that was once I decided and realized I was good at comedy.
Yeah.
I was like, I should get a job as a flight attendant. It's only like a certain number of hours, and then basically I'm just gonna fly myself across the country to all the clubs, and just hang out, be there, a couple days a month, and eventually they'll put me on, and then that'll be the fastest way to get seen, rather than like run around and try to get a TV show. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, whatever the grind is, that I felt like that was one side door. But nobody wanted to hire me as a flight attendant.
Yeah, no, it's a weird thing. It seems to be mainly a lady thing.
It's a lady thing, and it's a gay dude thing.
Yeah, it's a gay dude thing.
I don't know why. I don't know what the reason is.
I think they're just very meticulous about the things that they do in a plane.
Maybe. So, I don't know. That nobody was meticulous on the flights I took over here, man. It was bad.
It's all the hand gestures. Like if you can't nail the hand gesture, then. Yeah, no. So like the aisle thing, the window thing, pulling the jacket without really.
Right.
Yeah. I think that's where I would have lost points because I would have just.
Pulled it just like Tommy Boy.
Oh,
shit.
Sorry, guys. You're not supposed to do this. Don't do this.
All right. You just pass out.
Yeah.
So who... This is one that I guess... We were talking shop a little bit last night.
Yeah.
And it sounds like the influences are pretty similar. But who was your guy? Like, who was the guy that you looked at when you decided comedy was your thing that you were like, that's who I need to be?
I started watching... Russell Peters.
Okay.
First it was Russell Peters, then it was Chris Rock. Then who was after that? Eddie Murphy.
Okay. So you went back in time.
Yeah.
Because you're too young to have even understood the relevance of what was happening when the Eddie Murphy stuff came out.
Yeah. And I didn't. It was just funny. Like, this guy's hilarious. This guy.
It's tough, man, because like Chris Rock.
Yeah.
Has been quoted in multiple interviews where he's like, everybody looked at Eddie.
Yeah.
Everybody wanted to be Eddie.
Yeah.
And still none of us are as funny as Eddie.
Yeah.
So they've been trying to get him back into the game for like the last 6 years.
And he's just like...
He won't do it. I think he's afraid of... Well, he definitely has been in interviews saying that the sensitivity is way too crazy right now. So for him to come in now, especially that he was never a guy who was particularly sensitive.
Yeah, no, he was just super raw.
Yeah. And so he's like a little afraid of that. And I think he's also like, it's tough, man. It's like to be at the top of the game.
Yeah.
Go somewhere else, go do something else, and then try to come back. You still have that throne that you need to like live up to.
Yeah, it's a weird thing, especially in comedy, because comedy is ever changing.
Yep.
Your experience level stays the same whether you leave or stay. It just gets better with time.
Yeah.
So like I've been doing it for 4 years. If I decided to stop for 3 years and do something else, like if I went back to college or I went back to university, if I come back to doing comedy, I still have 4 years of experience in comedy.
Right.
It's just the 4 years that I have. What I was talking about in those 4 years won't particularly be relevant at the time that I start doing comedy again.
Sure.
So I just have to catch up on either references or the information that I'm bringing across needs to be.
You lose your set list, but more than that, you lose the credibility that you had.
Yeah, well, obviously, everything that, like, people that have known you are funny, they might have forgotten about you.
Yeah.
But then when you come back, it's not like you are a new person. You're not a new guy starting comedy. You're a guy starting with a background in comedy. You have done comedy before.
In theory, right?
Yeah.
In theory, sure. Yeah. But there is like these weird little exceptions. It's like, and I don't know. David Tell had this show that he produced a couple years ago. It was the Underground, Live in the Underground with David Tell.
Okay.
David Tell is a legend. I mean, the guy is incredible, and he's been doing comedy like 30 years.
Okay.
And everybody in comedy basically knows that, but like kids your age in the United States, they don't know that.
We don't know
they don't know
that,
who Attell is. So he was brilliant, and so he put this show together, and it was his show, but he brought on people that he knew the younger demographic knew. Artie Lang, Amy Schumer.
Okay.
Who else was on there? I mean, all the guys, Kurt Metzger, Big J. Okerson.
Yeah.
He brought all these guys on that, Sarah Silverman, all these guys that had all this credibility already in the industry.
Yeah.
And he had them come on, and they would have like a conversation about when he mentored them. And they were like giving him so much respect. And he put himself back in the, you know, in the on the pedestal that he belongs in the community of whatever, younger generation, this and that.
Yes.
So there is this thing where if Eddie Murphy comes back, he almost is, like, it's almost an open mic. It's almost day one, because there are people that don't understand what he's done.
But that's what I'm saying. So you are going to come back and be at open mic status, but you're not going to be at the open mic level.
No, you're arguing for him to do it, which I'm for. I'm trying to argue his point, but he thinks that he's like, it's like all these obstacles he has to get. I mean, he's obviously still going to murder.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
No, and I agree with that.
An open spot.
Well, that's why we want him back.
5, but it's going to be 5 of utter destruction.
I think he could walk out right now unprepped and do 20.
Yeah, easily.
Fire.
Easily. Very easily.
But there's been a couple they had a little tribute to him a couple years ago. Okay. Arsenio Hall handed him a microphone and said, you know, it's your time to shine. And he handed it back to Arsenio, and he said, you know, it was crazy, man. I was so disappointed.
What?
I was so disappointed.
Man.
It was like, there was like that moment where everybody in the crowd would like did their buttholes tighten.
Yeah,
like not on sensitivity, on nobody fuck this up, right? And then he didn't even take the mic, dude. It was crazy.
Nope.
And then he was going to host the Oscars.
Yeah.
And then what's his name? His the buddy there, the producer of the Oscars, fucked that up with some sort of scandal allegations. He said some racist shit.
Damn it.
Those were all the little ones. Yeah.
They're messing it up for us, man.
So Eddie Murphy. So who's your guy now?
My guy now, I would have to say, is Trevor Noah.
Trevor Noah,
has
yeah.
to be. Because at the time that Trevor blew up, when he came out with Daywalker 1, I was in grade 11.
Yeah.
So that's my second last year of high school, and I was just like, this guy's incredible.
Yeah.
He's South African.
There's something about the nationality, the nationalism of being. I don't know what the word I want there is, of being from here and having a guy come out of here and do fucking fantastic things.
No, he's on another level.
Yeah.
He's on another level. So like I said, then I started following him. So every show he did after that, I think I've seen him live twice.
Yeah.
He did Lost in Translation, and when he did, I think it was It's My Culture.
Yeah.
He did the 2 at the Teatro in Monte Casino. And that was mind-blowing.
Yeah.
And late last year, August, September, the time that he came back to do the show at the Ticket Pro Dome.
Okay.
He was here one night, and he performed at the Sunday night spot that we have as well.
Nice.
So I saw him 3 nights in a row, and
that's fantastic.
I was like, this is phenomenal.
Yeah.
This is a level I want to get to.
Yeah, yeah.
I want to get to this level, but I'm not rushing to get there.
Yeah.
I want to get there on my own time and know that I've done it properly, because he did a gag here the first night, and it was okay. When he did it the second night at the Sunday spot, it was like he'd done 15 other open spots.
It had been
on that one gag.
It had been one night, and he got that much better. That's crazy.
I was like, this is incredible.
It's a testament to the work ethic.
When I saw him do it at the Dome, I was like, flawless. Without a hitch,
yeah.
without fail, it was perfect, and everybody lost their minds.
Oh, that's crazy.
This is what it is.
Yeah,
it's that work.
That's great. Yeah, that's incredible. No, there's something, and this is something that I see when I go to other places. Is the comedy community is a lot of times propped up by the best guy in the scene.
Okay.
So to have a guy like Trevor Noah in this scene makes everybody here work harder.
Yes.
Because
we've seen that it's possible.
Not even that it's possible, and it's also that, like, you see a guy who can dunk the ball from the free throw line, and you go, maybe I can do that too.
Maybe I can do it as well, yeah.
Right, but like, if all that was happening was a guy running up and doing layups with tight shorts, you just go, well, that's the best this can be. Yeah. So, the best guy props up the rest of the community usually, and it's. Yeah. I mean. The comedy scene is vibrant, man. Last night's show was so hot, man. It's crazy. If you take
last night, for example, because it's you and Dave Thompson from the UK.
Yeah.
It's a very international lineup. It's 50-50.
Yeah.
So 2 guys from overseas, 2 guys from here. Robbie Collins, Loyiso Madinga. Those 2 guys. paired with Tatson Konzo, Skumba Slope, and a guy named Safiso Nene.
Okay.
If you want to see the walls in a place sweat, if you want the building to collapse, put those 5 guys on a
That's
lineup.
crazy. Yeah.
Like, it's mind-blowing to see guys kill that hard.
Yeah.
It's just something insane. And that's what I'm saying. Because of Trevor Noah doing this thing, I wouldn't say it's because of him that they kill like this, but it's just it's a work ethic.
Yeah,
These guys are putting in the work. They're putting in the hours.
Yeah.
They're getting on stages, and they're just making sure that what they say is on that level. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's, I mean, that is the one thing now that I get into my 30s here. I'm not in my, I guess I'm in my 30s a while, but once you, like, you reevaluate what killing is as a comedian every time you write a bit that destroys.
Yeah.
And so it's like you got this one bit, and it's like
it's the measure.
It's the measure, yeah.
The
so
measure,
like all the other stuff like doesn't stack up. So you like, so then you have to write all this stuff up to that level, and then as soon as you get there, you write another one, and it's here, and you're like, oh fuck. And you just keep going, you know. So it's like you got to just keep cutting stuff out and start with new stuff, because it's like what you thought year 1, year 5 was killing. If that happened to you like in year 8, you're like, dude, I bombed. I fucking bombed tonight. The worst setup ever.
And that's the thing.
It's crazy.
There's so many nights where, look, there's a bunch of guys that started after me, and some nights I perform with them. I walk off. This is like paying gigs. I'm talking like your restaurant gigs or whatever the club gig is. Walk off stage and I'm not happy with my performance. And then the guy comes to me and is like, yo, dog, that was insane. I'm like, I didn't really feel it. That gag in the middle threw me off a bit. And it's like, but did you see what you did? I'm like, yeah, I saw what I did. But it could have been better.
I know what I can do, bro.
I know where I'm supposed to be.
I know what I can do.
That mark.
Yeah.
No, but look,
I'm just catching up to the fact you call it a gag.
In terms of why
we call it a bit.
A bit.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
That's fine. I just the first time, because you said because I didn't get it at first. You said Trevor came out and did a gag, which to me is like he like fucked with the crowd. Do you know what I mean? Like it was like a prank.
Yeah, it was. Oh no.
But it was a bit.
It was a bit. Yeah.
It was a bit.
Let's go with the word.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. No, you're fine. It just takes a second. I've only been in South Africa for 4 days. So those little things. And I asked you, dude. I pulled this guy aside before my show before, and I was like, yo, what do you call like FedEx Kinkos? And it's like, I go and read it. And I was like, what do you call like if it? And it's just like all the tiniest little, dumbest little, but it matters. Because if I say one word and that's the structure of what's going to hold up the next line, and they don't know what that word is, then I'm fucked.
You've flushed it down the drain.
It's gone.
Yeah. So, damn it, I forgot what I wanted to say now.
Oh, sorry. I fucking talked too much. That's my fault.
No.
It's true.
I was going to say, I think over the past year specifically, I've also learned not to be that hard on myself about it. So like you said, when you write a gag and it needs to measure up to your hardest, you have to measure up to the hardest killing. But once you've passed that level, you can't go, okay, now everything needs to be at this level. Yeah. It builds up to it.
Right. Right, and there's a cycle to it, right? And you want to figure out where the stuff is.
Better than others. Some nights the audience is probably going to be off, or some nights.
Well, and some nights the one that works the best doesn't work the best, and some nights the one that's like kind of mediocre, that one crushes the hardest because of you don't know what the situation is in the room, and that's what's.
And that's also why I said the host needs to be as strong as the headliner, because the host needs to go on and basically do every bit that he has about every single topic on his mind.
Yeah.
And as the comic sitting at the back of the room, you have to go, okay, cool. Tonight they want to hear about sex, drugs, and road rage, for example.
Right. Yeah.
So then you jump on, you've got to kill a road rage, but save it for the end. Start with the dumb stuff.
Yeah.
End off on the road rage.
Yeah.
Set the room on fire.
No, that's smart. That's smart. Knowing how to structure a set is a thing that it takes a long time to really figure it out.
No, it does.
And to understand. I used to go off what my favorite joke was. So I'd go and do one of these. I'd do like a contest thing where the time is way too short. It's a 3-minute thing. Okay. And I would go and tell what I thought was my favorite joke, which is never the audience's favorite joke. Yeah. And so every time I was just like, I just don't get it. I just don't get it. And so you get 3 minutes to like be in that moment, and you don't have enough time to let the crowd know who you are. Let them know that if you say something with vitriol behind it, that it's clearly a joke, right? So it's like the shorter the time, the less prep you have to tell the crowd that, like, look, I'm a good person. Yeah. And if I'm saying something that's like a little edgy,
forgive me. I'm not this guy.
Yeah, not even that. Like we're all kind of we're all humans. Yeah. And I don't mean it on the deep level.
Yes.
So yeah, that's interesting. But yeah, man, it really is. It's just a live, incredible room, and it's a testament to what you guys are doing out here. That this thing is so hot, and the fact that Trevor Noah would same night he did the theater, then he came and did a spot, and then he came back.
He landed he was here the Saturday night, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. The Saturday night he came through, and the funny thing is I didn't get backstage with him. I just had to bring him in, and then I was part of the show. I couldn't tell anybody he was going to be here, so I came in.
You snuck him in?
Yeah, we had to sneak him in through the back way.
Oh, no shit.
You can't bring him in through the front.
Right.
It'll cause chaos.
Yeah.
So we brought him in through the back way, and he came up the stairs, he walked in, went straight backstage, and I left. I came to the front of the because I wanted to see how it went down. I wanted to see how people lose their minds. So after the show, Jason and Donovan and Nicholas and them are talking, and they talking about what he said while he was standing backstage.
Yeah.
And they're like, can you imagine the nerve of this guy? I'm like, what do you mean? They're like, no. He walks backstage, he's talking to us, and he goes, who have you got on after me? Because I'm probably going to do like 15. These guys are like, what? 15? Don't be stupid. He's like, no, I have 2 things I want to talk about.
Yeah.
And
I just want to try these 2 things.
That's all I want to talk about for tonight, and I'll be fine. Dude did an hour.
Oh, hilarious.
Dude did an hour of the most ludicrous shit ever. It was so funny.
Yeah.
And then he walks off stage and he's like, so who's going on after me? We're like, no.
That's it. You ended the show.
No, you finished it. It's done.
Yeah.
Following night, same thing.
Yeah.
Following night, I was on that lineup, but he got there after I'd performed.
Yeah.
So room's packed as well. They bring him on stage, and then he goes, yeah, guys, I'm not going to be here for too long. Does an hour 15.
I love it. Now, what you're describing is basically, I don't want to say every night, but it's like at least once a week at the Comedy Cellar in New York City.
Oh, wow.
Is a guy, powerful guy, a Chappelle, a Rock, Trevor, an Amy, whoever. They'll come and they're not on that night, and they'll put them on, and they're like, I'm just gonna do a spot, whatever. But then all the comics that aren't Dave Chappelle, that aren't Chris Rock, that aren't, they all just go, well, we know what's happening.
That's fine.
And and the club is cool, so the club it's great for the club, right? Because the fucking crowd goes nuts.
Yeah, they go.
People are tweeting about it afterwards. The club will pay the comics.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's just that. There's that level of respect and hierarchy, and that's what I'm saying. The fact that he popped in here and that kind of thing is happening here that's huge.
It was huge. No, it was. It was definitely a huge thing.
And for the audience, the community of people that actually want to come and see comedy, that's huge too. To see that.
But I must say, there's a weird thing about South African audiences. So what happened was he played.
This is why I wanted to do these podcasts like 2 days ago, so that before I went on stage, dude, I was nervous out of my dick last night because I hadn't talked to a single person about
that one.
Anything about audiences.
Nervous out of my dick.
Sorry, go ahead, make your point. Sorry.
Incredible. So the people that were standing outside, because you've seen how the setup looks downstairs.
Yeah.
So what they did was they closed off up to the cake section. So the whole restaurant was just for comedy.
Okay.
So eventually when Trevor got on stage, because it's clear pane windows, people could see in.
Oh.
Like, shit, it's Trevor Noah. So outside there were like 50 people trying to get in. So we have a regular doorman that just stands there, and he's like this huge ass guy. So he was just blocking people from coming in. So eventually people were like, they're not going to let us in. Let's leave.
Yeah.
The following night, the spot that we have up in Maboneng, it's a small theater. The room is double the size of this room that we're sitting in now, and seats about 100 people.
Okay.
We put 120 people in that night. Nobody knew Trevor. Well,
Yeah.
a select few knew Trevor was coming, and people that saw the pictures and the
Right,
videos
right.
from the previous
Had
night
an
were
idea,
there. Yeah,
right.
they had an idea
Yeah.
that he might pop in. So Trevor walks on stage, is doing his thing, is about, 30 minutes in. People are coming to the door because they're like, wait, man, comedy is normally done by this time.
Yeah.
So I'm standing at the door. This dude walks up to the door. He looks at me. He's like, yo, man, who's on stage? I'm like, no, it's Trevor Noah. He goes, yeah, right. You could have just said, you don't want me inside. And turns around and walks away.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
I hope he looks at the Instagram photos tomorrow.
yeah. I was going to be like, I can show you that Trevor's here, but then I have to kick you out. You know what?
Right.
Do me a favor. Get out of here. Go, leave. 10 minutes later, another lady comes. And she's like, I heard Trevor Noah's here. I'm like, yeah, Trevor Noah's here. She's like, you guys are taking us for fools. Leaves. I'm
Wow.
like, okay.
So okay, so that's it. Yeah, so that's interesting. So that's that moment that it's like people, and that's what the Cellar had before everybody knew that was a drop-in spot. It was like, whoa, that's crazy! I can't believe Kevin Hart came last night.
Yeah.
And now it's tough because now it's like people expect it, right?
I feel like as comics, you guys see Kevin Hart and you go, fuck. Damn it, I have to be back next week now.
Right. Nobody's going on after. But it's
that's
man,
so incredible. Though. That is just like the most mind-blowing thing ever. I think I'd lose my mind.
Yeah,
I would lose my mind. I'd definitely lose my mind.
Kevin Hart, or just or all these people we're
all
talking
of these
about.
Guys.
Yeah,
all
yeah.
Of them.
Did I tell you? I didn't tell you. Craziest night I had seen. My boy Andrew Schultz. Shout out. Incredible. I love this dude. Yeah. I get frustrated when I watch him perform because he's so tight. He's so seamless. He's saying things that are so hard to say, and he writes the jokes perfectly, and he's tackling topics that I dream about tackling. Yeah. So I go to the cellar to see him. We're hanging out. We see Chris Rock walk in, and I think Andrew kind of knows he's gonna get bumped back in the lineup a little bit. Yeah. He's like, all right. Then we see Chappelle come in, walk in. Actually, I think I didn't see Chappelle walk in, but Andrew saw him, and he's like, let's go downstairs. So he has the door guy let us in, whatever. We're sitting in the crowd, and I'm like, I'm not understanding why he's sitting in the crowd with me. And then and Chris Rock's on stage. And so he's probably been on for like 10 minutes. We see him do like 20. Then Will Sylvans is about to come on and host, and then Chris goes, can I do it? Chris Rock goes, can I do it? To Will, and Chris Rock goes, you guys fuck with me. You've heard of me. Some of y'all think I'm good. I'm all right. This guy is the best to ever do it. Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle comes on. What? Fucking everybody's looking around like is this really happening? Yeah?
This is a lie.
Chappelle comes on, does 40. Marlon Wayans just walks in the room.
Can I leave?
Out of nowhere, just walks in the room, then comes and sits on stage. Then it's Marlon Wayans and Chris Rock Dave Chappelle just talking. And so they do like 20. Then Chris Rock is in the room the whole time in the corner watching Chappelle.
Yeah.
Like watching him like we're watching him. Jeez. Then he brings Chris Rock on stage. So then it's Chris Rock, Dave Chappelle, Marlon Wayans. Chappelle says to very casually with a drag off a cigarette. Yeah. Chris Rock was writing his bits for the BET Awards. You're fine. Yeah. So he was hosting the BET Awards, and the big thing at the time was Donald Sterling. Okay. Which was a guy who we all decided was racist, who owned one of the NBA teams. Okay. Doesn't matter who. So Chris Rock had a couple jokes. So Dave Chappelle goes, what was that? What was that Donald Sterling joke? Chris Rock turns his back to the crowd, tells it to Dave Chappelle.
Only.
As if we're not.
One's there.
No, I mean, he's on the mic. No, as if nobody's behind. Says it to Dave Chappelle, on the mic to Dave Chappelle. And Dave Chappelle just goes, I like that, takes a big drag, and then gives him like an extra tag.
Oh.
Just an extra tag. Just an extra tag. And then Chris Rock is like scribbling it down in the notebook. And then Chris excuses himself, goes in the corner again, watches. Marlon Wayans excuses himself, and then Dave does like another 40. I mean, it was one of the craziest things I've ever seen. And at the time, I think I was there with Akash Singh, Andrew Schultz, a couple other comics were there, and I think at the time we all had a reverence for Chris Rock and for Dave Chappelle. But to see how Chris Rock looks up to Dave Chappelle put things in like a different perspective for us. And that's a whole other level. To see how comedians are respected in their community is a whole other thing that outsiders never get to see.
That just sounds insane, man.
It was mind-blowing.
My goodness. Chappelle, Chris Rock, and Marlon Wayans all in the same night.
Just sitting on the stage. So there was a night I didn't make it there, and it was and it was one of those same kind of nights. Kevinhart was on stage. I think it was Kevinhart, Dave Chappelle, Chris Rock. They were all on stage together. This happened a couple weeks later or something like that. But it's nuts, man. It's nuts.
I think I saw that video. I think Kevinhart posted about that.
Yeah.
Because he's like, I rocked up, I did my bit, and then Chris Rock did his thing.
Yeah.
And we were like, these jokes are fire. Nobody's going to touch us.
Yeah.
And then Chappelle rocked up and did bits that blew us out of the water.
Yeah.
And we just went straight upstairs and started writing again. Like, we didn't even do anything that night.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah.
Now, that's insane,
yeah,
man.
it's crazy, man. It's just live. And it's just tough because it's the same kind of thing where as a comedian you know what level you can get to of killing, right?
Yes.
And then you see another guy doing another thing. But then also you see when you see that level of respect from an audience, how much they cared about what was going on that night and what they got to see, it just really then you have those shitty nights where you're just in some bad bar. Doing, comedy in a basement and nobody gives a shit. And
comedy
you're like,
in a room with a staircase in the middle of the room, so everyone's walking up
right,
in the middle of your
right.
set. You're like, guys,
the bathrooms in the like the only way to get to the bathroom is walking through the showroom.
There's not even a stage. There's no spotlight. You're just standing on the floor. Some waiter just knocked you with his elbow while you were talking. Now you sound like a damn it.
Yeah, there's those nights.
I've had
there's
all
those
of
nights.
those nights. All those nights. But that's what I'm saying. In the 3 years that I've been doing comedy, it's just been experience on top of experience like this. So we have a spot in Soweto. Sorry to steal the show like this. We have a spot in Soweto called Ozone. I don't know if you've heard about it.
No.
You should actually go through on Wednesday if it's running. I'm going to speak to Jay Boogie.
Please.
Jay Boogie is the guy that you need to speak to. Jay Boogie has been doing Ozone for the past 12 years. He hosts every Wednesday.
Yeah.
Every Wednesday, the show structure goes like this. Show starts at 9 o'clock.
Yep.
Between 9 and 9:15, Jay Boogie goes on, does his thing.
Yep.
Calls a 10-minute break. So 25 minutes past 9?
Yeah.
Goes back on stage, does 30. Brings the first act on.
That's crazy.
The
fact that you guys even can take an intermission and get the energy back is crazy.
But this is what I'm saying. So Jay Boogie goes on, does 30, brings the first guy on.
So now he's done a full headliner set.
He's done a full headliner set already. He's done 45 minutes. So first guy goes on. He can do anywhere between 5 and an hour if he really wants to.
Yeah.
Because that's the kind of guy Jay Boogie is. He goes, look, if you're here, you can do your time.
Oh, no shit. He doesn't care. As long as he respects you.
Right. Yeah. So guy goes on. Let's say the guy does 30. Comes off stage. Jay Boogie does another 20.
Yeah.
Brings on second guy for the night. Guy does same thing. Half an hour. So now it's like borderline 11 o'clock.
Yep.
Then he goes, okay, cool. Another 15. 10 minutes.
So far, they've only seen 2 comics.
They've seen 2 comics.
And the host.
Break again. Another 10-minute break. 11:30, the show starts again. He goes on, does 20 again, brings on another act. This act normally does like 5 minutes because it's just before the headliner starts.
Yeah.
Does about 5 minutes, comes off stage. It's midnight.
Yeah.
Jay Boogie goes on, proceeds to do a 45, then brings on the headliner.
So he's done now.
He's basically done
2 hours
in one night.
Yeah.
And he does this every Wednesday.
That's crazy. Now, as crazy as that is, there was a show exactly like that in New York with Donnell Rawlings.
Okay.
I don't know. Did you see Chappelle's show?
Yes.
Donnell Rawlings is Ashy Larry.
Yes.
He's incredible.
Yeah.
And he would do the same thing. He would open up the show 45 minutes. He'd do 40 up top if he wanted to.
Yeah.
Then he'd bring a couple guys on, and then he would decide your time. Basically, it was that kind of show. It was like if it was going great, you just rock with it.
Yeah.
And then as soon as you get a dud, you get lit.
Yeah.
Come off.
Yeah.
He goes back on. He'll do 20.
Yeah.
Another comic. Then he'll do. It's crazy. And there's a lot of shows like. There's actually a bunch of shows in Harlem that are still set up like that. There's a guy named Smokey.
Yeah.
Same kind of thing. These guys are crazy. Like those veterans, the guys with that kind of talent, it's
that's
unreal.
One place. So if you're gonna interview anybody else, ask them about Ozone. Ask them about Jay Boogie.
Yeah.
And you'll hear.
Well, I want to interview Jay Boogie now.
No, Jay Boogie's rock and roll. So this is basically what the backstage area looks like. Obviously, your people can't see, but backstage is a glass pane like this. So the stage is that side.
Yeah.
So you are literally backstage, and everyone in the audience can see you. So it's like bull ring style, and people are just sitting all over.
Yeah. So this show stays packed through midnight on a Wednesday.
On a Wednesday night, it stays full.
Whether or not he'll put me on, I'm going to that show.
You have to go on Wednesday. I'm telling you, it is the most amazing thing you'll see in your life.
That's awesome. I'm doing that. All right, so yeah, hit him up. Let him try to get me on.
No, I'm gonna chat.
Hook your boy up. So I got. But seriously, I gotta say here's where I'm at.
Okay.
As much respect as I'm being shown, as great as last night's show was, and so on and so forth, and how awesome everybody's being to me. I want to tell everybody, but I also don't want anybody to know. Like, I don't want people from New York to try to come. I'm like, no. This is it's not good. It's not good. You don't want to go there, man. You know, I got mugged 4 times. Like, don't. Yeah, no. You don't want to go.
I mugged him 3 of those times, just as a
I had to mug him back so that he could.
He thought he was mugging
mug me for the 4th time. No, but it's been it's incredible here. Nice. And there's not a lot of places on earth that have this much energy around comedy. It's crazy. The reason why I came to South Africa, and I'm gonna say this to the podcast people, was because comedy's only about 30 years old in South Africa.
Yeah. Because
of apartheid, because of all of the things that were happening, because of censorship.
Yes.
comedy is one of the first things that people start to do when you finally get an opportunity to speak your mind.
Yes.
When you finally get an opportunity to say what you actually mean, comedy is super important. So
that's true, yeah.
Stand-up in the U.S. was hitting those same kind of strides in like the 60s, where civil rights was huge and everybody wanted to speak out on a myriad of topics. Yeah. So coming to South Africa is basically like me traveling in time back to the 1980s, the 1990s in like New York City and LA and doing comedy. And that's what I had in my head, and it totally is that. I mean, the same day that people are here crushing on the stage and people are respecting South African comedians is the same day that people are writing in New York City about how Dave Chappelle is not allowed to say this about this. I mean...
No, look, you've only done this gig. This is the only gig you've done so far. Depending on where you go, it genuinely is like traveling in time.
Yeah.
Because I'm from the East Rand. It's about 40 minutes from here. It's a 40-minute drive from here to hastie. And we recently had a couple of pop-up gigs there. And honestly, it's a different social class. It's a different economic bracket. It's like 10 years back.
Yeah.
It's just like you performing in 2008 if you go back.
Yeah.
You do comedy. You need to break the stuff down. You need to speak slower because there people speak a different language.
Right.
They speak at a different pace. Life is happening at a different pace.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
that's what it's like going to play the Midwest of the U.S.
Yeah. No, it's like it's very distinctive. So, for example, let me think quickly. You had a gag last night about people shitting on the floor.
Yes.
People here would laugh at it.
Yeah.
Where I'm from, people would be like,
"That's what we do."
Yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Why are you guys complaining about shitting on the floor?
That's
Where else are you supposed to shit?
That's funny.
Where it's from, yeah.
That's funny. So, it is. It's interesting that I mean what you're saying is super true, and the more you get to do all those kinds of things, the more you understand that comedy is a universal language, and sometimes you write to a very specific little chunk of your world.
Yes.
So the more places, and that was the whole thing. I wanted to see if my shit could stack up in South Africa. Like I would not have been surprised if I went up last night and just nothing worked. You know what I mean?
No, it's happened. It's happened. Ooh, somebody said it to you last night. Oh yeah, Mo. The what's his name?
There was like so there was a weird level. There was a weird level of like you're here and we are happy that you're here, but we haven't seen you do comedy yet. Last night.
Yeah. But don't be shit.
Right. And then after I got off stage, it was totally different. Everybody was like, "Oh man, thank God." What can I get you?
We've had a couple of guys that came through and they just bombed on stage.
Yeah.
They're like, "Yeah, we're from New York."
I got it. I'm from New York.
Okay,
yeah.
Oh, cool, New York. We believe in you. Let's do it. And then death.
I'll see those guys, but those same guys that have that energy, have that attitude, will go and play Missouri, and also same thing, bomb. They'll go and play Maryland. They'll play a Firehouse, bomb.
No, but that's the thing. They come here with that status, and then we're like, okay, cool, we trust you. But now it's like, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So knowing all those things, and I could feel it last night. So knowing all those things, I'm super happy that the Goliaths have me.
We've had quite a few guys. We've had guys from the US, guys from Kenya, guys from the UK. We had one guy from Australia. I don't know if you know him, Marcus Ryan.
No.
Marcus Ryan, incredible.
Yeah.
He landed in South Africa at 5 p.m. in the afternoon. He played here at 8 o'clock, and he had a flight out to not New Zealand, to Slovenia.
Slovenia.
Yeah, at midnight. So when I left the club, I took him back because I live close to the airport.
Yeah.
So I was like, "Yo, man, you can roll with me." And
yeah.
We went back, and he was telling me he's just going around touring the world, and I
just
follow him on Instagram, and this guy's just
boom, just one show a night.
He's in India currently. He's doing shows in India.
Fuck. Now. See, that's how I do it in the U.S., but here it's like I don't. Yeah. I was so nervous.
Yeah. Nah, you'll get around.
No, but I mean, just like I don't know how to get anywhere. Yeah, I'm just a dumb American. You know what I mean?
The traveling thing is the biggest thing. If you can get that down and be sure that you're going to be staying in either a safe place or places that are like within
Hold on, wait, back up. Y'all picked him up at the airport and then drove him back?
No. He came here on his own. I drove him back to the airport. That's what I did.
I was like, I didn't get that. I didn't get that. They're like, yeah, take a cab, you dick. I was like, fuck. I was like, can I walk there?
No, he wanted
to. Like, nobody wanted.
He wanted to. No, really. And he had this big-ass bag, and I was like, nah, man.
That's funny.
I love that way. We'll drop you off.
Yeah, that's great. Well, listen, this is fine. I know you got a lot of shit to do. The show's going to start in a couple hours here. I appreciate having you. Let's plug all your shit. Plug your stuff on Instagram, Twitter, whatever you got.
On Twitter, it's Eric, EricJansen, Eric. EricJansen on the Instagram and the Twitter. And then you can...
Eric...
my middle names.
JG?
Yeah, JG, Joseph and George.
Oh, fuck.
Names, yeah.
Eric JG Jansen.
Yeah, that's the full name. And then you can listen to my podcast as well. I do a podcast on cliffcentral.com called the Just Now Comedy Podcast, myself and David Levinson.
Nice.
It's totally fire. It's totally dope. You can listen to it. We've got listeners from all over, and there's like 9 of them. So if you guys listen, this will be dope. How many listeners do you have?
Yeah, none.
None.
Yeah, there's a waste. There's a full waste of your time. Yeah.
I'm gonna plug you, and then my people will listen to you, and then we'll all have people, man. We'll all have people.
Some people. 4 people will listen.
You'll find me. I'm the guy.
Thank you guys for listening to the Comedy's Best Kept Secret Tour podcast. We're on iTunes. We're on Stitcher. We're on the Google Play. Wherever you found us, we're also on the other thing. Today's episode, we have a couple YouTube videos of it. Go check that out. Check out Eric, man. He's great. And just look up South Africa and the scene in the Goliath Comedy Club. There's a lot going on here. If you love comedy, this is a place, man. This is a place for comedy. It's happening. Thank you so much for my guest.
Cheers, man. Thank you.